Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Design Hours. In this show, we'll be asking some real life questions with our guests, design leaders around the world, so we all can learn from their experiences. And today we have Sudha. Hey, Sudha, thank you for taking our time to join us.
Hi, Pratik. Thank you. Thanks for having me on board.
So, Sudha, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about yourself. What are you doing? Where are you joining us from?
Sure. I'm Sudha. I'm currently located in Abu Dhabi and working as a lead designer with Digital 14. I've been associated with the design industry or working in the design field for over 9 years now. And I have some formal education in product design from DJ Academy of Design India. Over these years, I've worked on various domains such as aerospace, power plants, medical, and enterprise technology, which include different platforms such as mobile applications, desktop applications, websites, so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's about myself overall.
Cool, nice. So let's get started. Uh, it's going to be a simple Q&A session and there will be no time limit for answering. So you can take your own time to tell us about your experience and I'll ask you
Mm-hmm.
questions one by one.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So first one is, so that you're a product designer. So what your everyday look like? What you actually do as a product designer?
Um, Currently, I'm responsible for the user experience for a suite of highly secured mobile applications from pre to post launch. And I also do inward UX strategy to build UX maturity within my organization. And for few projects, I've been an individual contributor, and few projects I'm working on with the team. My workday usually starts with meetings, daily sync up meetings with my team. Regarding product work, depending on where I am in the development process, my day can look very different. If we are in planning stages, then I often communicate with the team members and I exchange ideas. If we are acquiring some user details, then I attend a lot of user research sessions. I could be part of the sessions or I work in collaboration with the user researcher. I also meet with engineers to discuss implementation, with content strategists to go over designs. I work with user researchers to answer open questions and say product specialists to gather the insights. In execution mode, I'm more into details, wireframing, designing features, creating specifications. I oversee the builds and I work closely with the QAs. So, more or less, that's what I do.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So you have worked in a lot of different companies, a lot of different domains. So is there a standard design process that you follow, or it changes from domain to domain?
Yeah, I think my process usually depends on the type of product I'm working on. So, in general, I follow the process of the basic design process where I start off with understanding and analyzing first. This is the phase I spend most of the time to dig deep into the problem and product definitions. I do this with different methods such as stakeholder interviews or value proposition. So it depends, what kind of product I'm working on. Then I move to research. So I try to tweak my methods according to the kind of users I'm going to have, or it could be market research, surveys, or ethnographic studies. And then I spend good amount of time on analysis and ideation. Post that, I do design work, sketching, low fidelity, or creating prototypes. I find formative evaluation a really good way to quickly validate your designs before the application already gets built. This is a really time-saving step for the team while we're working on iterative model. And post that, mostly the handover of design and validations. So yeah, more or less, this is what happens. I think all these phases of UX process have considerable overlap, and usually there's a lot of back and forth as it is more of an iterative model. Yeah.
Agree. Yeah. And let's say if what is like according to you, what is the most important skill that a designer should have, or a UX designer should have, to be specific?
Okay. I think right now design has become a very broad domain. But if we go to the basic skills, I strongly believe that every designer must have a passion for problem solving. I think some people take a good pleasure in solving messy problems and they tend to enjoy the process. I think attention to detail is probably the most important thing, as it's our job to notice and fix the problems that most people don't even see. Other things would be creativity, people skills, and solid process where every problem is different. I think having a solid process with lots of tools at your disposal can help a lot.
Yeah, well said. I agree. So, so that you have worked in service company, you have worked in a product-based company. So, is there a difference in the kind of work that a product designer do in a service company versus a product company?
Well, in a service company, the type of work you'll be doing is often project based and can vary depending on client. The projects, the teams, the clients are always changing. That being said, a designer can gain a lot of experience very quickly from the big number of projects that they get pulled into. Whereas in product company, things move a little slower. A product designer here typically works on only one or two products. So I think you can take the time to learn and understand the product or solution from a holistic perspective. With a product, you work continuously to improve and refine it, compared to service, where you can work to improve or create multiple products through a process which you can keep on improvising with every project that you work on, considering the kind of challenges or problems that you solve with each product. So I think it all boils down to what your goal is and what kind of skills you're looking to build.
True. And so according to like how you choose like what is the correct company for me? Should I go in a service company? Should I go in a product company? So what's that thing that you look while you are picking up a company to work with?
I think apart from service or product, I choose the roles or companies that demonstrate a respect for UX and customer-centered design. I also look for the industry or work the company is doing, which help me understand if it is challenging enough for me to learn more. I also think if it can enhance my work and my skill set. In addition to these, I also look for good growth and learning curve. I'm okay whether it is service or product based company.
Got it. So you talked about learning, right? So how do you grow as a designer? You already have a lot of industry experience, right? But how you keep on, or what are things that you keep on reading to grow yourself as a designer?
Okay. Um, in general, I refer to websites and blogs which have really good content these days. I'm not much of a books person. So for visual updates or inspirations, I usually go to Dribble or Pinterest. These days, I'm more into podcasts. There are really good podcasts out there which you can just listen on the go. One example would be How I Built This is one good podcast wherein in each episode, one founder from a well-known company shares their journey. In addition to these, there are some really good people or profiles to follow in social media, Instagram or Twitter. Few of them would be Two Habits Design is one good profile. Humble UX, Pratik, your UX, uh, which help me with regular feeds and information to keep myself updated.
Great, great. And what do you think like will be the design trend in 2021? What things will change?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think considering the situation we are in now, I see a big shift in the domain of digital well-being and digital health, which are using latest technologies such as AR, VR, wearables, and whatnot. There's an interesting study by Apple working on hand washing detection, which surprised me. So I know anything could happen. I think the companies will work more towards the behavioral design to achieve this by keeping the users engaged with the product or services that they offer. I think companies might spend more time to gain a deeper understanding of the user's intrinsic needs. We might have a big shift in applications to improve health, to get inspired, mind applications, and many other categories where design can systematically shift human behavior through influential design methods. That's what I think would happen anytime soon now.
Great observation. And my last question, so should a product designer do everything by themselves, like the research, the testing, the designing, or you think that there should be separate,
Um,
well-defined?
uh, I think every designer have their tools and defined methods of doing their craft. But over the years, I've realized that every designer should develop some amount of people skills when they are working with others in the team. I think it is not only the quality work you do, but it also depends on how you elevate the team to reach a high level of performance. With every project we have dependency on each other to reach the success or the metrics that you map as a team. On a day-to-day basis we get in touch with the different team members to gather feedback, negotiate with the technical team, or we do cross-functional collaboration. So I think designers should have the design skills as well as the skill to build great relationship within their teams. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think something similar, but I agree that the designer should have end-to-end experience because he's the one who is responsible to stitch that experience, right? So he should know what the user is thinking, or if not, he's not doing a user research by himself. He should be a part of it for sure to understand
Yeah,
the user.
right. That's right.
Cool. I think that's great. So that I think we are done. So what's up? What are you working on these days?
I'm new to the Middle East region, so I'm more into understanding how this region works and what kind of users we have. So every culture has its own, restrictions and as well as the way they perceive things. So right now, I'm working on applications which are focused mostly on the garment entities here in the Middle East region. But otherwise, yeah, it's all going good, and I have a lot of things to learn. So yeah,
Great. Cool. So Sudha, we are done. Thank you for being with us. And it's amazing talking to you today.
thanks, Pratik. Thanks for having me on board. It was really nice talking to you.
Yeah. So we'll be releasing more such episodes with amazing guests like Sudha. So please hit like and subscribe to this channel to stay updated. Also, you can tell us what you want to learn, and we will cover that in our next video. So that's all for today. Thanks, Sudha.
Thanks, Pratik.